I was young, I was stupid. I didn't know better. Until I was open to the idea that maybe I was meant for something more. I reached this point. I used to be promiscuous, and I reached that point that while I was having sex, I was crying.
Fun day, everyone! Welcome to the Singles Podcast by Singles Events Manila, hosted by your resident matchmaker and researcher, Vanessa A. In today's episode of the Singles Podcast, we will be sharing with you some tips on how you can maintain an interest when you go on dates, and also learn when to answer some of the most pressing questions most singles are afraid to ask. So if you are a single person who wants to learn the ropes on dating and relationship, this is the podcast for you. Joining us today is a motivational speaker, an author, and someone who has a passion for relationship. Brother Nico Capuchon, welcome to the Singles Podcast. Hi, Brother Nico. Welcome to the Singles Podcast.
Ivy, thank you for having me. I hope that I could share some insights to you guys and maybe encourage you as you go through in pursuing dating and finding your one true love.
Yes, love that. So, Brother Nico, before we ask you some of these topics that we've mentioned, would like to hear from you. Brother Nico, tell us something good today.
But something good that I see in all of the things that are happening right now are opportunities. Opportunities to heal your families, opportunities to heal yourself, opportunities to grow, opportunities to create that desire for change, create that desire for betterment, not just of society, but ultimately yourself. Because who builds society? You do. Right? And so we're gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about adding value to yourself so that you could keep interest sa mga kadate mo, sa mga pinupursue mo, right? Pag-uusapan natin yan. Right.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brother Nico. So we know that you have this passion for the youth. You've been preaching in the youth ministry for years. And we've also know that you love the youth so much that you've even written a book for them, Reckless.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that before we proceed to the first question?
Okay. Reckless is a book in bringing young people towards the ultimate healing, towards the ultimate wholeness, which I believe is only found in God, right? And so I've written that book because a lot of teachers, a lot of parents have been asking me, Nico, how do you do what you do? And why do you do it the way you do it, right? And a lot of pressing concerns all around us have been pushing me to have this dream to create a better future for our kids. Iba kapag you're creating a future for your kid. Because I have a son. And now youth ministry is more personal to me. Man, I cannot imagine my son growing up in this kind of world. But if I could help create pockets of safe spaces, pockets of environments where he can thrive, man, I'm gonna give my all for that. And so one of the reasons why I'm helping families, why I'm helping relationships, single people to become their better selves so that they could become better spouses and better parents in the future is because if I want this for my kid, I want this for your kid too. Right? Yeah, and I want to share everything that I know. I want to share everything that I have seen work in my life and in the lives of people around me so that I could empower you to create that bright future with me.
That's right. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to create an impact. So really wonderful, Brother Nico. You've mentioned that, teachers are asking you, wanting to learn from you. Very briefly, Brother Nico Capuchon, what do you do best?
Oh, I I've been leading and creating leaders from the Gen Zs and the younger millennials for the past 9 years. I've been helping educators and teachers to better understand their students and themselves. Usually kasi nagsisimula ang understanding sa sarili. For the past 9 years as well. And for the past 9 years, I've been helping families heal from traumatic wounds, from depression, from abuse that was unintentionally done, right? And um, I think for the past 9 years, I've been getting better and better at it to the point that I could actually say, I think I'm an expert at it. Because a lot of people are already asking me how to do this, what to do with that. Nico, could you come into my family meeting right now? Could you just be there and be the arbiter as we discuss this this stuff? Teachers would line up and ask me, Nico, teach me how to help younger people better. Young people going into the single life are asking me, Kuya Nico, you have such a successful relationship with your wife, and so I want that too. Can I learn from you? And yeah, I've been doing it for quite a while now.
Wonderful. So we really agree when you mentioned about like the resolving of the trauma, the issues partner. We'd love to touch on that a little later.
Yeah,
But
sure.
but like right now, brother Nico would like to ask, since you have been, working with a lot of young people for the say past 9 years, what do you think is the most common mistake that is often overlooked by
Ah,
young singles on love?
right. Okay. Most common mistakes. Number one. Parang may listahan ako eh, no? Number one.
Listahan. Okay.
Most common mistake. Number one. Thinking that image is everything.
Oh, so
Right.
just
Number one. Yeah,
everything.
image is important, but it's not everything.
That's
Because
true.
at the end of the day, um, the honeymoon phase, the physical attraction would die down.
Yeah.
But what would be left is value. What would be left is character. What would be left is the depth of who you are. And if you put more work on your image more than working on what is truly within,
Uh-huh.
then yes, you might attract people to you, but you might not be able to keep them.
Oh, which is that second phase is also very, very important.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's true. Attraction is a starting point.
yes,
It's
that's what brings them to the door.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
tease. But what keeps them inside that door, inside that room, is what is in you. Who are you? Right? So yes, 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 yes. Attraction is very important,
Yeah.
but that's not gonna keep them.
Exactly.
Right?
A good point, brother. So that brings me to ask you, like, what should singles do? Like in connection to the first point that you've mentioned, that mistake that young singles do. So what is the
Okay.
solution? What do you think?
All right, all right, all right. There's nothing. I believe in my experience of relationship counseling in the past 9 years, something that I've come to realize that is um paano ba to? Eternally, I could use that. Eternally attractive to everyone, cuts across generations,
Oh,
cuts across social strata, are
uh-huh.
two things. Two things.
Okay.
First,
What are those?
first is leadership. Are you able to lead me? Are you able to partner with me and bring me towards a direction that would change the trajectory of my entire life? Yeah, leadership. Second is selflessness. Because what keeps relationships working is a mutual selflessness,
Yeah.
a desire to just give of myself to my partner, no matter how small I have right now, right? And be willing to work towards increasing that capacity to give. And it takes a tremendous amount of selflessness. It takes an ability to be able to look beyond yourself and take into account what my partner needs. What does this person need? How can I help this person be free of her or his dependency on me? I want to help you become truly free in yourself so that when you tell me you love me, I know that you do because you chose to, not because you need to.
Oh, that's really wonderful. So, like, for a minute, I was like, that is very true, no? That, leadership and the ability to be selfless is very, very attractive. Like, you would want to
Yeah.
be with a person who's not going to bring you down, who's not going to, instead of, directing you to the right path, they'll be like engaging you and say, for example, to be specific, like wrong vices and stuff. So you want people who's going to make you better, and you want
Yeah.
people who'd also like make you feel that you're like a so much better person for the world when you're with
Yeah.
them instead of the opposite.
Yeah. But
So
the thing is, if you want to attract people like that, you have to be the same person.
exactly, you have to be like that first.
Yeah, you have to be, able to impact someone's life,
Mhm.
um towards something positive, towards something better. And the problem with the world nowadays is that um people could smell from a mile away, if that's just a facade, that you're if that's just false positivity, if that's just toxic positivity, if you're just being sympathetic, like, oh, kaya mo yan, or oh, I'm here for you. But they could also smell if you're really living what you're preaching, if you're really there for them, if you're really, I'm not saying get abused,
Yeah, that's
right? I'm not saying that. But being able to reach that wholeness where you're able to stand your ground and stand firm, even if the people that you're trying to love, the people that you're trying to invest in, are struggling with their insecurities and with their clinginess and with their neediness, but just being able to stand there and love the person towards wholeness. And it takes tremendous amount of value in you, tremendous amount of healing as well, to be able to reach that point. What I'm trying to say is this: it's a journey. No one is born this way.
mm-hmm.
I, I could speak like this because I came from the totally to the far end of the spectrum, right? I've been a douche, right?
Oh,
I've been a real douche.
okay.
Yeah. I wasn't born a gentleman.
So what made you
Yeah.
change?
What changed is I realized that I wasn't born a douche as well. Something happened in my life. Who I am right now is shaped by the values that I've listened to, that I chose to listen to,
Uh-huh.
that I chose to believe in, that the traumas that happened in my life, the type of parenting filtered through my own understanding of what my parents were doing. And yeah, I was raised by a village. I was raised by society, and looking back from my perspective, I thought being a douche was the way to get your get your shit in this world. you know, that's what I thought, right? That's
Okay.
what I thought. So I was young, I was stupid, I didn't know better until I was open to the idea that, but to the idea that maybe I was meant for something more. Maybe I was, I reached this point. I used to be promiscuous, and I reached that point that while I was having sex, I was crying,
Oh,
and
why?
I was asking I was asking God, Lord, ito na ba yun?
Oh,
Ang empty naman nito.
walang, walang,
Di
mm,
ba? Ano to, hook up lang, tapos wala, tapos na, yun na yun. Parang, is this the end all and be all of who I am? And then I go to church, and then I hear all of these things that of who I am really at the core, of what my worth is at the core. And then started realizing, bakit merong immense detach between what who God sees me to be and how I see myself to be. And it woke me up. Maybe I'm living my life the wrong way. Maybe I've listened to the wrong people. Maybe I have the wrong thoughts, and that woke me up. Realizing na all those people that I hooked up with were actually victims as well of this kind of mindset.
Mhm.
That's all that they are. But
Oh,
the truth is, they're capable of so much more, and
exactly.
they're so beautiful, and they're so amazing. They're such amazing people, and they don't know the value that they could bring to someone else's lives. And they cannot do that because they're blinded by their own need. They're blinded by their own insecurities. They're blinded by their past. They're blinded by these perceived limitations that are actually um, opportunities in disguise to heal, to grow, to connect, to be empathetic, to be compassionate, to 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 have this burning desire to help people, not to experience what you've experienced before. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a matter of channeling. Instead of channeling all these energies, all these angst, all these anxieties inward, and ultimately it would make you a selfish person, a self-centered person. Why don't you channel it outward and start helping people, bringing value into their life, and just helping them heal?
Right.
And yun na, leadership is built,
Yeah.
compassion is built, selflessness is built. Yeah.
So two of my favorite points in what you've mentioned, Brother Nico, is you're also underlining that it is a process. Hindi tayo
Yes, yes.
automatically like I'm a douche, I was born a douche, or I was born a gentleman. It's basically you're telling us that like who you can be whoever you want to be depending
You
on,
can choose. Yeah.
yeah, depending on the maybe the mentors that choose, the messages that you let your brain receive. So there's like hope for everyone, those douche who wants to be better, and those great people who wants to be a douche. So hopefully they like make the right choice.
Oh yeah. Because
Right.
ito yung na-realize ko when I was a douche, no? My world became smaller. Kasi,
Your world becomes smaller.
yeah, why? Because ang dami kong iniiwasan. Kasi dito sa area na to, may nasaktan
Ah,
ako eh. So, alam mo
oh,
yun.
okay.
Tapos, iiwasan ko yun. Tapos, I'm not free to be authentic. I'm not free to be who I am. I'm not free to express because I would always think that someone's out to get me.
May
And who
tinarantado ka somewhere,
may
ganon.
tinarantado ko eh, di ba? Eh,
Uh-huh.
yung tinarantado ko na yan, may tatay yan, may boyfriend yan ngayon, may utol yan that is out to get me. And so lumiliit ng lumiliit yung mundo ko.
Buti, Brother Nico, buhay ka pa.
Oh, oo nga, di ba? Pero it took maturity for me to actually apologize. You
Oh.
know?
So did you really apologize to those
Yeah,
people?
maybe not all because yung iba binlock na ako.
Maybe
So,
you deserved it that time. So
yeah, I agree, right? Been but for the people that I could reach, I did
oh, that's
in
nice.
one way or another. And then tawag dito for people that I couldn't reach, maybe you're watching right now, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't know better. I'm sorry, I was such an ass. I sorry I led you on. I'm sorry that you felt like trash because of what I did. And yeah, I'm praying that you would find someone better than I was.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that also bring me to like my second favorite in your message, Brother Nico. It's so it the way that we're receiving it right now. So if you get, kumbaga nagago ka ng douche, sabihin na like, kumbaga you ended up in a hookup when you wanted like a relationship out of that person. Um, kumbaga the blame is not entirely on you, because especially like women that we're working with, they're very prone to like maybe the reason why I always end up with a douche because ganito, it's like in me, the blame is like on her. Sometimes they're just really the casualties of war, victims of men
Yeah.
who are
Yeah.
developing, trying to be better.
Yeah. Though I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm leaning more towards, yeah, acknowledge you're part of the problem,
Okay, that's
but
fair.
also don't think that it's only your problem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because it always takes two to tango, right? So why am I saying acknowledge you're part of the problem? Because at the end of the day, you cannot do anything about that person,
That's
right?
you
The
can only
the the, the only person that you have total control over is you,
exactly.
right? So you could use that as an opportunity to introspect. Okay, did I do anything wrong? Did I is there something to improve? These are very um painful questions to ask, but it leads you to the most breakthroughs. When 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 you reflect on your life, when you reflect on yourself, I'm not saying overthink. I'm saying reflect, right? Reflect, talk to the proper people about it, get their opinion, learn from that, improve. The next time you come into the game, man, I'm better. Man, I'm better. But also because you also acknowledge that it's not only my fault, right? You develop what psychologists call self-compassion.
Self-compassion. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very healthy because self-compassion leads to compassion for other people.
Oh,
So
okay. Wonderful.
yeah. So as you tell yourself, okay, it's okay, I can improve.
Yep.
And also it's okay. That's not all my fault.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
entirely, but I had like a contribution.
I had a contribution for that, right? So um, from there, you could tell yourself, it's okay. Maybe I just got the wrong person,
Mm-hmm. And
and it's a trial and error thing, you know.
that's
So
true.
thank you next.
Yeah, very true when it comes to dating. Unfortunately, it's a trial and error, but what's important is you still put yourself out there. Don't let the douche discourage you from meeting the right
Agree.
one. So
Agree.
I like it that you said that you do introspection, be more self-aware. What was your contribution in that lesson, and also to seek help, to ask for feedback from your friends. If not, like
Yeah.
work with a coach, work it out, like whatever you think is like stopping you or keeps on bringing you in the wrong lane,
Yeah.
wrong road. It's very important to kumbaga diagnose and then solve. Try to
Yeah. 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 Because
one.
parang ganito yan eh. Parang ganito yan eh. You keep on doing the same thing and you're expecting a different result. Teka. I think you need to change the equation a bit, right? So, if let's say punta tayo ng math ng konti. No? Let's say your potential date is an uncontrolled variable, right?
Yes.
But what you have in control is you. And so um, if you are improving, if you are getting better, then no matter how much fluctuations the quality of the people that you date varies,
uh,
the results would infinitely be better
exactly
because
right.
you're a better person now,
True.
right? And I really agree with what you said. Get a coach. Importante yun. Work with Singles Events Manila. They do coaching. Right? So, tawag dito, get a coach because sometimes nakikinig tayo sa mga kaibigan natin, sa advice ng mga kaibigan natin, na wala rin namang experience dyan. Right? Kikinig tayo sa mga advice ng mga kaibigan natin that don't really have the credibility to. 'Di ba? Alam mo yan, kung nakikinig ka nito, alam mo yan, meron kang kaibigan na sobrang galing mag-advise, pero pag nakikita mo sa buhay niya, wala namang resulta. Tapos pag tinanong mo, saan mo napulot yan? Narinig ko lang somewhere.
So,
Nabasa ko somewhere.
so hindi
Right?
lahat ng you've mentioned a while ago, hindi lahat ng advice na naririnig is tama.
Totoo.
And
Hindi pwedeng ganun.
another thing, Brother Nico, like some of the things that we tell people kumbaga, our coaching clients, like sabi niya kasi yung friend ko kasi sinabi sa akin ganito ganyan, and we were like, your friend is just being like so nice. They love you. You have to understand they love you, so they don't want to tell you the truth. And so
Agree.
coming from like someone who don't know you, kumbaga, this is the vibe. This is like the perspective that we're offering you. Kumbaga, someone who does not really try to like please you, but our goal is to be able to bring you closer to whatever you want in a relationship.
Yeah.
Not because,
Yeah.
hindi, type ka nun, ano lang, siguro, okay, baka na-intimidate. This is like the number one thing. Like women, they always, because my friends say na baka na-intimidate. Hindi sila na-intimidate, hindi ka lang talaga nila gusto. So you move on. Find
Totoo.
someone worth your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with strong women kasi, because there is, paano ba to? How can I say this?
Let's
There
hear
is
that.
a lack.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lack of there is a lack of strong men. I'm not saying walang strong men.
Yeah.
Parin dami kong kilala. Ang dami kong kilalang strong men. Pakilala ko sa inyo, ang tanong, kaya nyo rin ba sila i-handle? Diba? Yun siya eh. The problem with strong women is they're so tempted to compromise. So tempted to compromise. They're so tempted to just settle. Because I've been dating and dating and dating. Bakit parang I'm not finding a person that could lead me. I'm not finding a person worth submitting to. Ako, I believe, my wife is a strong woman. Right? So, sobrang talino ng misis ko, napapaisip ako bakit ako yung pinakasalan niya. If you have questions why, you ask her. That's not my story to tell. Okay. But tawag dito, common mistake among strong women is being tempted to settle because they're frustrated already. They're frustrated, they're impatient. Um tawag dito, they're losing hope. Kasi rin, something that I realized among I've been mentoring strong women as well, right? Something that I've realized strong women is they have this, paano ba to? Being goal driven.
Okay.
They're being goal driven.
Okay.
They're being results driven. Though it is a strength,
It is good.
it is good,
Okay.
but it actually is a double-edged sword.
Agree.
So ikaw, meron kang goals na dapat by this time kasal na ako, dapat by this time meron na akong anak, dapat by this time. So dahil meron kang internal pressure na ganun, nape-pressure ka rin na, sige na nga, pwede na nga yan. Kasi malapit na yung deadline ko eh. So, pare, kawawa ka. Kawawa ka in the long run sa marriage mo. Kasi imagine getting to live with that person and getting to be abused by that person because of their insecurity, because of their inability to adapt or their inability to lead you. That's gonna ultimately wound you severely in the long process. Tapos aasa ka na lang na mapasa yung divorce bill, aasa ka na lang na umayos yung annulment. When it could have been prevented in the first place. It could have been, if you didn't settle in the first place.
All right.
Right? If you didn't settle in the first place, if you allowed it to unfold a little bit more, if you were a bit more patient, if you said, you know what, um, time is immaterial. Kung bibigyan ako ni Lord ng anak at 40 years old, bibigyan niya ako ng anak at 40 years old. Because I've seen people have children at freaking 45. I have friends. And it is possible. Okay?
Possible, yeah.
Yeah, most especially with all the science right now. Right? So, tawag dito, when you're dating kasi, you're not looking for someone fun to be with. You're not looking at something for the moment. You have to look beyond that. Is this person capable of co-parenting with me? Ito ba yung tipo ng tao na kapag nagkaanak na kami, nakahilata lang sa gilid, nag-Mobile Legends? O ito yung... Diba? Ito ba yung tipo ng tao na kapag may problema, gagawa ng paraan? Ito ba yung tao na willing to sacrifice for the family? Willing to be hassled? Ito ba ito yung tao na ang ang gusto niya lang maging comfortable siya, kung ano lang yung magiging beneficial para sa kanya. These are things that you need to measure.
And
And mahirap na isipin na, hindi, ano yan, kapag kasal na kami, it will get better.
oops, yeah.
Oops. Totoo. Oops yun talaga. Right.
Wishful thinking, but it's better if you vet them at the early stage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so
But I also want to caution, measuring these people at the maximum naman agad. Like, meron kang ideals, tapos, gusto mo, pag na-meet mo siya, ideal na agad. Alam mo, hindi ko sinasabi na imposible yan. Posible yan.
Yeah.
Pero karamihan ng mga lalaki or mga babae na meron yung mga ideal traits that you have in mind, they're what? They're at their 50s, they're at their 60s, so because they took the journey already and they've grown to that ideal already. So what I want to caution among young women and young men who are trying to find a partner right now is that, yes, you measure the ideal, but you also measure the minimum. What is the minimum acceptable na version nung ideal mo?
Okay.
The minimum acceptable version nung ideal mo. Why? Because your journey from the minimum to the maximum is your relationship.
Oh, so you're asking, actually, like you're telling them earlier to like do not settle. So that means putting a standard. But when you have a standard, you have to make sure that's not so unrealistic that it's gonna make you grow old without a partner.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
The find the middle ground of your standards, yung pinaka high mo at yung hanggang saan or how low can I go when it comes to the standard.
Yeah.
So gitna.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
right.
don't settle, find a standard, tapos measure kung how far you wanna jog back. Yeah. So balansein mo yun kasi tawag dito, you have to acknowledge that people that you're dating are also under a journey. They're also in a journey, they're also processing, they're also growing just like you are. Right? They're also growing just like you are. And so you're all on level ground. So if you don't want to be judged with an unrealistic standard, don't do that for other people as well. Right?
Okay. Do not
What
do
is
to others what you don't want to do unto you.
yeah. So, yeah, measure your ideal, tapos hanapin mo kung saan yung minimum acceptable. Okay, this I could work in. This I could work with. Right? Pwede na to. I just need to know, is he willing to grow? I just need to know, is he willing to get out of his shell? Is he willing to put himself out there and get better?
Does he have a vision?
Does he have a vision? Exactly. Yan siya. So, pag ganun, meron na nung minimum, okay, sige. Pwede na yan, minimum ng non-negotiables ko, I can work with that.
So in a nutshell, the message that we're receiving, Brother Nico, is have standards, but at the same time, do not go rigid on it. You have to be flexible. Adjust it in a way that's not gonna, kumbaga, hindi ka naman luging-lugi. Yung tipong binigay mo na yung sarili mo. You're so valuable. And there are people, like you've mentioned, brother, that there are people who are like getting married at 40 because maybe that's the time both of them feel ready. But there are also, Brother Nico, my question is, there are also instances, alam mo yung parang got into long engagement, tapos yung guy, wala naman palang planong pakasalan. Paano naman yung women? Anong advice mo? Like, when do you know when it's time to, give up of this like relationship that's not serving you both, and maybe it's time to give a chance to like someone new?
Yeah. Women, if you are in a healthy relationship, you can talk about these things. Like, magpapakasal ba tayo?
Yeah, talk about it.
Magpapakasal ba tayo? Because don't think that you cannot ask these questions. You have to. You have to ask these questions. Why? Kasi ikaw yung may timeline. Ikaw yung Kasi for men, pwede kaming makapag-conceive even in our later age.
Right.
Women, if you plan to have kids, meron kang timeline. And I
I
agree
love
with that.
that you recognize that women also has their, kumbaga, like biologically, like as much as
Yeah,
we want
yeah,
to wait, brother Nico, our
yeah,
clock is ticking. So I think
yeah.
you're saying na don't get too pressured, but you said that you can ask this
You have
question.
to ask. You have to ask. Sa akin, meron akong rule of thumb. Meron akong rule of thumb. On your third year, pag 3 years na kayo magjowa, pag
Okay.
3 years na kayo magjowa, um, going on your fourth year, pag-usapan nyo na to.
Wow.
Because
Third year.
the truth, the truth would hurt. The truth would hurt.
Mhm.
If, um, if you cannot see each other
I
in the future of each other, you have to break up. Why? It's respect. Na, please give me time so that I could find my suitable partner. Wag mong i-hoard yung oras ko just because you don't want to be alone. I'm not just saying this for women. I'm also saying it for men.
Yeah.
Because meron ako mga kaibigan na nung nasa altar na, saka pa nag-chicken out yung babae.
Ouch.
Oh, alam mo yun? Parang, man, I've invested so long in this. Ang dami kong pwedeng potential na ligawan. Lahat sila may asawa na ngayon. Pero pinili kasi kita eh. Tapos at the end of it, hindi mo pala ako nakikita sa future mo.
Mm-hmm.
Siya, pare naman. Di ba? Parang maawa ka naman sa akin for all it's worth ng lahat ng pinagsamahan natin. Sana you had that respect to tell me na I love what we have right now, but I'm not really sure if I've found the one that I want to marry. Yun, and that goes the same for women. You could ask that question and you could
Mm-hmm.
actually tell it.
Yeah.
Hindi. Nakasaya kayo ng oras.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that's like something that we can like bring back, especially for women, brother Nico. Syempre, we don't want women, including myself, to be pressured. But realistically, being someone who has worked with like thousands of singles, we know that when it comes to men, they generally prefer someone who's like same age or younger than them, or sometimes kahit older men, like say 50s or 60s. Di ba ideally, you find someone na companionship, 50s and 60 then. But take it from us who has been, trying to give people, match people with singles that they like. That's not what older men are asking. They're asking for not a lot of them, but some are asking for younger. So what I'm trying to say, brother Nico, is there's also in value in women's youth. Maliban sa ganda, of course, which is like a little, like magkukupas talaga siya. It's
Yeah.
like, don't fight me on this, people, because it's really true. But
Yeah, it is
what
true.
I'm trying to say is that's why women, you really have to value your time. Don't be too pressured, but at the same time, look at the signs, the cues, and don't
Mhm.
be afraid to ask.
Mhm. Mhm. Sa akin, kapag nandiyan na kayo in a long-term relationship, first, second year, maybe even going on the third year, medyo kinakabahan ka pa to talk about marriage because I don't
Yeah.
want to pressure the person that I'm with right now eh. Pero when you're going on your third and fourth year, mas lalo kung naka 5 years na kayo, pag-usapan nyo na yan.
Yeah.
Kasi we're not saying, ito yung caveat ko dito. We're not saying when you talk about it, get married already. But what my wife and I did was this. Mag-share ako, right?
Mhm.
On our fourth year, fourth year, we started talking about marriage, right? We started talking about marriage. And we started talking about, are we ready for it?
Oh,
Physically, emotionally, psychologically, relationally, spiritually, handa ba
financially.
tayo dyan? Di ba? Financially. No, ako hindi ko in-include yung financially kasi ako I believe that when you grow with the right partner, finances come.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's
Finances come.
good. Mhm.
Yeah, because I've seen it in so many people, right? So finances isn't actually it is important, but it is not a major factor.
Okay.
Right? It is important. Kumbaga, kung meron tayong list ng factors, yun yung nasa pinakahuli.
Okay.
Yun yung nasa importante yan. You could work on that, but you could grow together. You wanna be married to a billionaire or a multimillionaire? man, journey together towards becoming a multimillionaire.
Love that. Yeah.
If you're not with this person, if you didn't accept him or her at his worst, you don't deserve him at his best. So yun siya. So lakas mga Popoy and Masha. So tawag dito, we talked about these things and we realized that we weren't ready yet. But
Mm.
but now we know what to fix. And so
Yeah.
for the next years, we were able to start tackling healing, psychological, emotional healing, relational healing. We were starting to allow ourselves to be formed more spiritually so that we could love better our spouse and our future children. And so now we're on a different journey. We're not just enjoying each other. We want to make sure that we grow towards being capable of getting married. And
Yeah.
so yung journey namin from that around our fourth year, that fourth year, and the next 4 more years. So those 5 years, we're all into preparing for marriage.
So
So 8 years kami, long engagement.
long engagement,
Yeah.
definitely. So that also tells us, Brother Nico, that asking questions, these questions, when you are in a relationship, is not just beneficial, and it doesn't tell you na makukuha mo siya agad, but at least your head and his head, kumbaga, you work towards a common goal if you
Yes.
want to be together.
Mismo. Yun siya. Hindi, ang maganda kasi dyan, when you start talking about these things, hindi ka na nagtataka. You're not wondering, may
Yeah.
nangyayari ba? Am I maturing? Is he making steps towards being ready for marriage? Hindi rin magtataka yung partner mo, is she getting ready for marriage? Right? Because parang meron pa akong mga nakikita sa kanya that I'm so afraid na dalhin niya into our married life. Right? So,
Oh, okay.
it goes both ways eh. So the best way is to talk about it and journey through it
Right.
in
And
your engagement.
ask these questions. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Have the courage to ask. So having said this, Brother Nico, no, we've underlined the importance that when you're in a relationship, especially when you think like the direction is not very clear, don't be scared to ask.
Yeah.
Now, since most of our listeners right now are like singles, I'd really love to hear your perspective on this, Brother Nico. What about, for example, I'm a single person, I go on a date, and there are two things that I bring at the back of my head. First is, when do I tell, for example, I have a child already from like my previous relationship, when do I tell my date that first I have a child? Second is, when do I tell my date? For example, like I have like autoimmune disease. For example, I have lupus, or I have like epilepsy. So these things na parang as a single person, you don't know. Do I ask? Do I bring it up on the first date, second date, third date? Do I never bring it up? Do I bring it up like kumbaga when the time is when it arises lang? So we want to know, can you enlighten us, give us tips on how singles could just maybe figure out when is the best time to bring these things up?
Right. Right. That's a good question. That's a valid question, actually. Um, yung mga ganyang sikreto, dapat yan hindi tinatabing sikreto. Because it would hinder you from developing a trusting relationship with each other.
Yeah.
So, two things that you need to balance. Authenticity and prudence. Authenticity and prudence. Authenticity says, I want you to get to know me. And I want to know if you accept me fully. I want to know if you want to invest in every part of who I am. Not only in the good parts, but also in the parts that I'm pretty ashamed about. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what authenticity pushes. Prudence pushes, on the other hand. Prudence pushes na, are you is it the right time? Dapat pa kinakwento ko na sa'yo to. Dapat ba alam mo na yan? Dapat ba? So kailangan balanse siya. Because I want you to accept me fully, but I also want to respect your readiness for it. Right? And sa akin, in my years of relationship advising, um, one thing that I've realized is this. Malalaman mo lang kung dapat mo nang sabihin kapag tinanong ba. Tinanong ba?
Tinanong.
Tinanong ba? Tinatanong ba niya?
But,
Right?
like, tanong, like, lahat ba kaya sila magtatanong?
Yeah, if they start to become more involved with you,
Okay.
doon mo makikita yung yung emotional investment nila sa eh. Because I will only ask questions if I'm trying to get to know what I'm really involving myself with. Because I won't ask questions if I'm here just for a short time.
Yes.
You know, like, get what I want and then I'll just leave. Di ako magtatanong ng questions. Ang usapan lang naman, get what I want eh. Diba? But if I'm planning to stay, I need to know. What am I staying for? What does this entail? What am I committing to? Kaya ko ba to? Kaya ba ng puso ko to? Kaya ba ng image ko to? Kaya ba siyang saluhin? Like, I don't want to be partnered with that kind of person kasi anong sasabihin ng family ko, anong sasabihin ng friends ko. Right? So, tawag dito, magtatanong yan kapag emotionally invested na siya.
Okay.
And that's in a sales perspective, that's like a foot in the door approach, right? Oy, nagtatanong na. Okay, this is something. Okay, this person is starting to really invest. This person is starting. It's a tell. You okay, that's a clue. Okay, sige. So
Sign.
nagtatanong na siya. Yeah, it's a sign. Nagtatanong na siya. So ibig sabihin, he's ready to take it to the next level because he's trying to get to know what he will eventually commit to.
So it's really wonderful because the points that we're receiving here, Brother Nico, is the importance also of not telling it on a rush just because you want to like get it off your head. So the importance of actually the right timing, like reading the signs, like is he like and also like putting importance and value to that information about yourself, because one thing is very clear here, I think, Brother Nico, that you don't tell it on a first date. Definitely.
Oh yeah, don't.
Probably not on a like second or third date even. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the point that you're also sharing with us is, if you think that there is a genuine interest, like if there's a will to be with you in a long term, then maybe that's the time that you he's deserving of, he or she is deserving of permission also.
Yeah.
At the same time, Brother Nico, we just want to be very clear that because these questions that we brought up to you, these are questions from our followers from Singles Events Manila, and we wanted to help them answer this, and we don't want to be the one telling them this is what you do, and that's why we're also we don't want to be the one telling them what to do without, of course, consulting people who are preaching on relationship and teaching people in relationship like you. But Brother Nico, we also want to make it very clear that, you know, having a child from your previous relationship or having autoimmune disease does not define you as a person.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And a guy on a date, but it's just one of the things, one of the, you know, questions that we at some point need to ask, or questions that we have to kumbaga get answers to, because we recognize that these are also very important information, and when you hold it back, it stops you from fully connecting to the other person because you have this secret or information that you wish others would accept about you.
Agree. And that stems from a lot of insecurity. The what do you call this? The hesitance to get people to know you, that part of you, and also the desire to tell it immediately. Pareho yun. Both are insecurities. Magkaiba lang. Dito sa isa, mas passive ka. Dito sa isa, mas aggressive ka. You know? So, but virtue is always in the middle. Virtue is always in the middle. So, sa akin, yun nga ang telltale sign na nagtanong na ba? Tinanong na ba? Does he want to get to know more about you? Then, pwede mo na siyang sabihin. Kasi nagtanong na eh.
Right.
So, instead of it being naiisip kong meme sa isip ko, whoops, that escalated quickly. Diba? Right? You don't want that on a first date. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
you don't want unsolicited information just yet. But
Right.
when the
Right.
person asks, then first, that person is interested. That's a sign, mayroon na, nakukuha na, di ba? Di ba? Second, they're ready for it. They're ready for it. Because when you're asking that question, when you're asking a question like, could you, is there something about you that you think I need to know? Right? Di ba? Pag nagtanong na sila ng ganyan, tawag dito, they are also prepared to hear whatever that is, no matter how out of this world is.
Wonderful. Um,
Diba?
Devil's advocate, brother Nico. What if that person, because it's possible, and maybe for most parts they're ready for that information. What if nagtatanong kasi naniniguro? How can women or men on date like work around this? Like, what if, like, I told you this most precious information, one of the most precious information about myself, and then you ended up like, you as my date, for example, you ended up like thinking, this is not the life, because these are lifelong responsibilities, having a child,
Yeah.
having like
Yeah.
some of like the autoimmune diseases. There are people who's gonna accept you, but I think it's quite it's just reality that some people might not be willing to go through this course with you.
Yes, yes,
How do we deal
yes.
with that?
I sa akin, when that happens, then that's good.
At least you know now.
It's good. So this person, hindi ko talaga maaasahan to.
Yeah, yeah.
So why should I continue?
Right.
This person is not even willing to journey with me through that. Right? So, no thanks. Sabi niya, parang hindi ko kaya yan. O, hindi mo kaya. Right. Thank you next. Diba?
That saved you time.
Tapos na. Okay. So, kaysa mag-invest ako sa'yo, mag-date tayo ng 10 buwan, tapos biglang doon ko lang malalaman na hindi ka pala ready ng ganito.
Yeah, you can't
Yun
handle
siya.
this ano pala.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And
Diba?
I'm very happy to know, brother Nico, that you've mentioned about, because as I've mentioned to you, these are questions brought up by some of single professionals, and we wanted to give them the best advice, that we also seek for advice from psychologists. And one thing that one of the many things that resounded your advice would be this urge to be able to disclose it immediately, or the hesitation to disclose it. These are stemming from insecurities.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
That's from the psychologist, and from you, brother Nico. So I want
Yeah.
to I want to know, let's provide them, help them find like a solution. So what are we telling singles to do right now? How can they maybe work on that insecurity that they have?
Right. So three things that top of my mind you need to work on. First, it's stemming from ano kasi, it's stemming from a poor acceptance of the cards that you've been dealt,
Okay.
right? So there's an internalized self-hatred there.
Hmm.
Meron kang shit kasi yung nangyari sa buhay ko eh. So parang ang hirap naman nakakainis. Sana hindi na lang ganito. Sana I was wiser before. Pero kang ganyan eh. So that means your hesitance or your sense of urgency to get it out immediately is coming from poor self-acceptance. So yun yung una. No? You need to accept yourself. You need to understand yourself. Actually, baliktad. In a process mindset, mas nauuna yung understand yourself. Unahin mong intindihin yung sarili mo. You need to understand yourself first. Na the context of where you are right now was a result of how the world has shaped you before. For example, hindi mo naman isusuko yung bataan mo kung wala kang deep desire to be intimate with people eh. 'Di ba? If you have this deep desire to be intimate with people, that tells us na you had hunger for intimacy. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka intimate with your family, hindi ka intimate with friends, hindi ka intimate. 'Di ba? And intimacy is beyond sex. Right? Sex is just an expression of intimacy.
Sure.
Intimacy could be conversation. Intimacy could be companionship and friendship. Alam mo yon, and family relationships. That could be intimacy. But the question is, why are you starved for intimacy? Kasi may nangyari sa'yo before. And understanding, yeah, in the past, understanding that part,
Right.
understanding that part of your life would bring you towards step number two, acceptance. Na, yun eh. That's what happened to me. It's not
Mhm.
my fault. It was just it was just how I felt. How I felt was a logical response to where I came from, and you could look at it objectively now. Wala nang self-hatred, wala nang sisihan, wala nang... Kasi ito yung sitwasyon ko eh. And because I wasn't mature enough, I thought na ito yun. And because of that, ito yung nangyari sa akin. It's like a math equation. It's 1 plus 1 equals 2. Wala nang iba doon. Diba? And when you can understand yourself that way, you could begin to accept yourself better. Nang may compassion na at that moment, I did my best. I thought that was the right thing. And so I made a mistake and this is the result and I have to live with it because it is my lifetime responsibility. Something like that. Diba? So accept. Yeah. And then lastly, number 3, you have to start forgiving yourself.
Self-forgiveness.
Yeah, you have to do
Mhm.
self-forgiveness. Why? Because you have to acknowledge no matter if merong may ibang kasalanan, so kung bakit nangyari yan, bagay na yan sa buhay mo. Um, tawag dito, you still have a part where you blamed yourself,
Right.
where you beat yourself up for it, where you've degraded yourself because of that, you placed a wrong label on your forehead because of that. Yeah, that you failed to love yourself with all of these things that you have. Yun siya. And security would come from that, right?
Wow.
So from there, being secured in that position na tanggap ko yung sarili ko, napatawad ko yung nangyari sa akin, napatawad ko yung mga tao na gumawa nito sa akin. Napatawad ko ako, napatawad ko yung sitwasyon, 'di ba? um, I could move forward knowing fully well that my past doesn't define me, that I could be better, I could move forward, and there's more to me than what happened before.
Exactly, in your past. And it's really wonderful for singles to remember this three phases. No, you have to understand yourself, accept yourself, and most importantly, forgive yourself. Not
Yeah,
only for those who was like, for example, like singles who have been like early moms or dads, but also it's very important for those who are like going through like what we've mentioned, yung diseases. Like this is not, sometimes it's not their choice. I mean,
yeah,
there are also people who are going through, kumbaga, keeping the same secrets. Like for example, they have like AIDS. These are like things also that bothers
yeah,
people, no? But then, for example, like having autoimmune diseases, for example, epilepsy, lupus, and stuff. Since this is not something that they can like regret about because it's just, it's not, it's probably not their choice. It's, kumbaga, the importance of the acceptance part is
yeah,
like tremendous. Like it's
yeah,
you, and the person who really loves you will not give up on you just because of this.
yeah, yeah,
But before that, before you find out and find that person who'd be able to go through that, because these are things that normal people do not usually deal with. So it takes as, kumbaga, it takes strength from your partner also to accept this about you. But before
yeah.
you can accept this about you, you have to be very comfortable and accept it about yourself too, right?
Yes, yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
And that being said, that's one thing that I wanted to say, brother Nico. For some, it's easy to come up with, understanding themselves, say accepting themselves and forgiving themselves. But if you feel that you can go through this like by yourself, seek for the help of experts.
Yes, yes, yes.
Seek for people who, like for example, like brother Nico, who has background in counseling, who has dealt with people who has the same experiences, same roadblocks that you're going through right now. Because why
Yeah.
would you have to spend like a month, 3 weeks, like 5 hours, 10 hours Googling about it? You don't even know if the advice that you're getting are right. If you could, invest in yourself, talk it out, an hour, 2 hours, probably once
Yeah.
a month, once a week, at like at least at some point you know that you're getting a good advice, an advice that has been given and it worked with other people who've been through the same
Yeah.
path as you. So that's also,
Yeah.
Brother Nico, the importance of seeking for help, either for counseling, for mentorship, for coaching.
Yeah.
These things that you could save your time, and kung baga, kung if there are 100 doors and 99 of them are wrong doors, when you talk to experts, these are people who has opened those wrong doors and learned from
Exactly.
them for you. So
Exactly.
make the most out.
Yeah. Ako, the reason why I want to give you hope. I want to give you hope. If you're a person who has gone through these things,
Mhm.
uh, your whether that be diseases or traumatic events in your life or abuses in your past, and it has created in you tawag dito, consequences that overwhelms you, that creates anxiety in your heart and in your mind. I've been there. Doon ako galing.
Yun.
And I really believe that the reason why I could help other people is because what I'm sharing is not something that I just read or conjured, or it has been tried and tested in my life. It has been tried and tested in the lives of the people that mentored me, and it has been tried and tested on the lives of the people that I'm mentoring, right? And so I want to give you hope that maybe once you go through this, after all of this, maybe you'd be in my place. Tapos in-interview ka rin ni V. Di ba? Malay mo, you would be on the giving end now.
Yeah,
You would be the one that people seek help from. You
right.
would be the one giving advices, and the advice that you would give aren't just cliche stuff. It
Yeah.
would be real life, hardcore, nitty gritty stuff, right? I'm praying that you reach that point, because um the world right now is so wounded, and we have such a big need for people who are just willing to add value to other people's lives, and willing to just journey with them and mentor them. And kailangan ng mundo yan, kailangan kanyan, kailangan ka nila, kaya ayusin mo buhay mo kasi kailangan ka nila.
Yes. And it's really beautiful, brother, when you mention about going over those, working on those insecurities, because once you've gone over those insecurities, that's when you start giving. That's when you like,
Mhm.
I've been through this road. I was able to kumbaga, survive it. Like I came out strong. And having said that, I could also help people who are going through the same roadblocks come
Yeah.
out strong, just like what I did. So it's very important to work on those insecurities that you have. Again,
Yeah.
either through, counseling, coaching, talking to mentors, as long as you do something about it and not let that insecurity eat you.
Yes, 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 definitely. That's good.
Wonderful. So like, Brother Nico, I could just like imagine how not only those singles who have brought this question up, but for those singles na ang tagal na nilang dala-dala yan at the back of their mind.
Oh,
When? And this is not something that you could ask your friend about it na ano, kailan ko kaya sabihin sa kanya na may ganito ako? Or you could, hindi mo siya matatanong sa someone that you don't trust. So I think like having this kind of discussion and keeping also their identity anonymous, it gives them, the strength to like work on it, know what to do,
mhm,
compare sa
mhm.
parang puro haka-haka. Like
Yeah,
it makes you feel lost the more.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Something that helped me reconcile with my past. We're friends. Na I slowly opened up to about deep dark secrets and insecurities, and tawag dito, because of good friends that accepted me when I've shown my most unacceptable parts, the most unacceptable parts of my life. it taught me na, okay, if they can accept me, then maybe I could accept myself too.
Nice.
Then maybe I could embrace this as part of who I am, and I could build on it towards a better future. Like, don't do away with that, because the more that you sweep it under the rug, the more that it would rear its ugly head at the worst possible times. Okay.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yung sinasabi nila, brother, na ano, like especially if you're a single person who's, on a journey of finding the one for you, syempre you'd have to date. And when you date, it'll be like so difficult to be genuine if you have all these like, hesitations, insecurities, and secrets in you. And like you've mentioned, brother, that you start opening up to your friends, thinking na if they accept me, then probably you could also start accepting it about yourself. In my experience naman, brother, one of the many things, that's why we have like Singles Events Manila, where we're doing like coaching how to be this person who's confident when it comes to communicating to the opposite gender, is because I myself went through that personal insecurity. Just like,
See.
yeah, just like say like 5 years, 10 years ago, I'm this person na, especially I grew up na morena. So all my childhood, I'm like, I'm not pretty, I'm not like likable, I'm not lovable. That it actually reflected like in the people around me. Parang the way I see myself, feeling ko they don't like me also. And
Mm-hmm.
and when I talk to people, you start talking about, you try so hard to impress them, which is counterproductive. I realized like now that I've tried to went over that insecurity. And then yung time na when I talk to the opposite gender, brother Nico, I've shared it in our past the episode na kahit hindi ko naman siya crush, brother Nico, bakit ako kinakabahan, bakit ako nauutal, bakit,
Yeah.
these insecurities, because it all stems from my insecurity na parang lack of experience, lack of social skills.
Yeah.
That's why, because of that insecurity, we've used it as a motivation to actually seek, study, what did science says, what did with people with social skills says, and learn from them. And now that's why we're actually sharing the
Yeah.
word, teaching, coaching people how to conquer yourself, because you can conquer yourself, because
I
we've been on
agree.
the same road before.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's something, if you shift your perspective
Yeah.
from if you shift from your perspective from being a victim of all these insecurities towards becoming towards seeing an opportunity to help other people that are also experiencing this. Like from a victim mindset to a compassion mindset to a healer mindset. Um, mag-iiba yung tingin mo sa sarili mo, na no, I'm not a victim. I'm being equipped to do something that the people will need in the future. And your worst struggles right now, those will be your best assets in the future. And the crazy part here is that because you've gone through it, you wouldn't be judgmental, you wouldn't be overly critical about people, you wouldn't be harsh, because you know how it feels. And so you know what it takes to go through it. Parang alam mo yung rock bottom eh. Naiintindihan mo siya?
Mhm.
Naiintindihan mo siya? So when someone is crying, you don't tell them to shut up. Like, don't fuss about it. You don't tell them that, but instead you meet them with empathy, you meet them with compassion, and then you show them na, alam mo, galing ako diyan, and it could get better. The question is are you willing to take the steps to get better for it?
Exactly. And that's the most important part is, trying to get over that insecurity. You have to step up. You have to like not stay on it, or else you won't be able to share wisdom. You won't be able to share experiences. You won't be able to share like tips. Like for example, what we both are doing right now, it's because like
Mhm.
we've been through that like rock bottom also na parang,
Agree.
ay, masasagad pa ba dito? So whatever you're going through, let's talk, and I'll tell you like how it worked for me. Maybe it's gonna work for you. Maybe it's gonna work for other people. So
Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful. Having said that, brother Nico, we are so thankful that you've given us, different perspective on this, because I remember in our past episodes we talk about the importance of packaging and marketing, and yes, you do recognize the importance of this, but you've also mentioned, the what is the thing that you can do to be able, kumbaga in your term, ensure the repeat customer.
Repeat customers.
It's all about working on what's the inside also, not just
Yeah.
the exterior. Wonderful.
Yeah.
We love
Because
that.
when people start to pay attention more, right?
Huh?
Packaging, that's what brings them to the door.
Yep.
That's good. That's good. It brings them to, oy, okay to ah. Parang meron akong gusto dito ah. Meron ako na-feel sa kanya. Meron ako na-vibe sa kanya.
Mhm.
Pero ito rin. Um, no matter how beautiful your packaging is, ang isa sa mga tinuturo ko sa kabataan, I tell them, kahit ganong kaganda yung sapatos mo, kung mabaho yung paa mo, maaamoy nila yan. You get what I'm trying to say. You get that metaphor, right? So, ang ganda ng sapatos, ay ang ganda ng packaging, ay grabe, sobrang attractive niya. Pero nung kausap ko na siya, shucks, parang walang substance. Shucks, parang puro tungkol sa sarili niya. Shucks, uh, parang sorry sa term, parang crazy bitch tong kausap ko. Parang ito. And in the same way, for you women, kita mo rin naman yan eh. Alam mo naman yung mga astahang fuckboy eh. Alam mo naman yan eh, di ba?
Puro hangin, walang laman.
Walang laman, di ba? Pero someone approaches you, hindi kagwapuhan, pero full of sense, full of substance.
Yeah, right.
Di ba? Meron kang tanong eh. Like, I want to hear more of his thoughts about this. I want to know, bakit siya ganyan ka-confident? Bakit siya, ano to? Bakit parang pagkausap ko siya, parang nabibigyan ako ng buhay. Parang ginaganahan akong gawin yung mga bagay-bagay. And these are things that packaging cannot hide. These are things, first conversation nyo pa lang, makikita na yan, naaamoy na yan. I mean, the packaging, yung magandang Tinder profile mo, yung interesting stuff about you, it could get you a date. But you want a second date, you want a third date, you want a potential partner in the future, right? You want a spouse. It cannot just end with just packaging.
Right. I so agree with you, Brother Nico. And that brings me to this psychiatrist named Raj Persod. You know what he said, Brother Nico? Sabi niya, in all relationships, in all relationship status, single ka man or taken or married, sabi niya, everyone goes through 3 phases. Tinawag niyang social psychological model daw when it comes to relationship success. So first is you should be able to get the person's interest. Second is you should be able to maintain the first factor is you should be able to get the person's attention. So that's attention. Second is you should be able to maintain interest. Mm-hmm. And third is you should be able to maintain the whole thing. Kumbaga, it's a process. Kumbaga, relationship is all about also, like getting the attention of your partner, maintaining that interest, and, the third part is working on it repeatedly, paulit-ulit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That although for a lot of people they're struggling getting an attention, some of them could be very good when it comes to maintaining interest, pero hindi naman sila makapag-maintain ng interest.
Right.
That's why they're struggling with the packaging. So that's when you seek help for the attention part. For all naman, magaling, ang ganda, ang gwapo, nakakakuha ng attention. Pero pag dinate mo naman, dyan na pumapasok yung sinabi mo, Brother Nico. Parang I'd rather manood na lang kaya kayo ng podcast kaysa makinig kayo sa kayabangan or walang content. Kumbaga sa puko, walang meat. So that's the importance also of, improving your character, honing your skills when it comes to communication, and of course, just improving yourself as a better person, so that you go through these 3 phases. You get their attention, you maintain their interest, and you will have the chance to work on a relationship. Kasi palpak sa first two, according to the psychiatrist, hindi ka makarating sa goal mo, which is
Yeah.
a relationship.
Agree. So
So,
yeah, it's important get the attention. But don't just settle for getting attention.
right.
Ako, um, I'm trying to put myself in the in the shoes of the people that are hearing this, and maybe some of them are thinking, parang it's a tall order, bro. Parang ang hirap niyan. Parang ang hirap nito, Coach V. Parang ang dami kong kailangan ayusin sa sarili ko. No, I could imagine. I could imagine people slowly starting to back away. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I don't think I'm ready for a lot of work. Ako, naniniwala ako, you already have it. Nandyan na. Because people are naturally like onions. Bukod sa some of them smell like it. People are naturally onions. You have layers. It's just
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a matter of unveiling it slowly. Alam mo yun? You have infinitely so much value within you that you have just not explored yet because of your insecurities. Because you feel like hindi kasi mabango yung amoy nitong part ng buhay ko nito. Pero alam mo, ganda ng message mo doon. So you have to take that, embrace it, paliguan mo, di ba? Alagaan mo, and that would slowly become a great conversation, something that could help other people, something that could add value, something that could even inspire. Yeah, and um, you have to explore. You have to explore what you have.
Mhm.
I'm so tempted to think that maybe you're backing out of what we're talking about here because you feel like you don't have anything to show for. I'm trying to get you to see that that's not true. Madami kang value sa buhay mo. Hindi mo lang ini-explore kasi hindi mo akalaing importante pala siya. Hindi mo akalaing makakatulong pala yun. Hindi mo akalaing that's something that would be inspirational maybe even or something that produces hope, something that produces passion
Right.
in you and in the life of other people. Yeah, dig deep, dive into the depths of your heart and your minds, and seek help, seek someone who has been through there before, and what do you call this, act as a tour guide, to show you, ito maganda yan, that's something that you could work on, ito okay na to, pwede mo nang ibenta yan, di ba? Mga ganong klaseng bagay.
Right. So I think what you're underlining here, Brother Nico, is the importance of working on yourself.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I like the thing that you shared, that naturally people are great, that sometimes they become damaged, they develop these insecurities because of experiences you've mentioned before about, yung bad parenting, unfortunately. So that's how we be, like, have this negative stuff in ourselves. But if we actually work on it, we counter that. And yeah, maybe like for all singles out there, you don't have to be perfect. Even the psychiatrist was not saying to be perfect. He was just trying to show us, like, what are the likelihood, what are the trend, what is the usual phases that singles, people in a relationship go through. So I hope that you don't consider it na parang ang dami namang kailangan gawin para
Oh,
and
yeah.
hindi, this, recognizing that these models exist, it will just increase your, if you work on yourself, it will just increase your likelihood to, meeting the person that you want, and getting something that you deserve.
I
Para at
agree.
the end of the day, when you're married, you're not gonna be full of regrets and say na parang, I should have worked on my skill so that I would have ended up with someone who I think, deserves me and who's gonna love me, and not settle for whoever is in front of me.
Yeah. um I was thinking while you were sharing that, I was thinking, but what if they don't stay around long enough to get to the good part? What if they, because yeah, I have so much value, but I'm still struggling letting people in, because of a traumatic past, because of a past abuse. What if they don't stick around tawag dito, to get to know the good parts? And that's why I would actually advise that uh, you should involve yourself in paano ba to? Ano bang term doon? An environment wherein an environment wherein you could naturally just be yourself and just show them that there's more to you than meets the eye. So like join NGOs, join church activities, alam mo yun, join organizations. Stick around kasi pag nandun kasi no pressure eh. No pressure kasi hindi naman tayo nagde-date eh.
Yep.
We're having group dates or we're having social gatherings and I'm getting to see you. I'm getting to see that grabe no. I mean, hindi ko masyadong type yung kung paano ka manamit. Pero when I see you talk to people, when I see you helping these kids, man, there's something so sexy about that. The
Yeah.
way you're passionate about that, the way you're um when nagkakaroon sila ng opportunity na makita what else can you advertise? Alam mo yun? what 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 else is behind that facade? What else is behind that image? So, join groups, join NGOs, I hope more particularly join NGOs and join church groups that do outreaches, that do stuff like this. Kasi dun ka rin makakahanap ng mga tao who also desires to be selfless and to help other people and to add value. Because yeah, you could get this in clubs, you could get this hanging out, going out in bars, yeah, sure. Pero yung makikita mo dun, most probably because of where you are in that environment, ang makikita mo sa kanila, ang magpupunta doon yung mga malalakas uminom, yung mga grabe bisyo, yung mga may tinatakbuhan sa bahay, yung mga may ayaw harapin sa buhay. Yan yung story pero yun yung totoo eh. Yun yung mga mahanap mo dyan. But when you're joining conferences, learning conferences where you could get to interact with people, joining non-government institutions or church organizations, you get to see people who have a desire to get better. Yeah, they might be wounded, they might be even damaged goods, no, and so that could what do you call this? That could lead to you seeing na parang hindi maganda to, parang hindi maganda. Pero sigurado ka sa desire niya na I want to get better. I want to be more responsible. I want to be more loving. I want to be more selfless. I want to be more... Yun siya. Meron kang kasiguraduhan na yung posture ng psychology niya towards growth and not towards running away from whatever is going on in their life and trying to live outside of their current reality. Yun. That's just my two cents about that.
True, and I totally agree with that, brother Nico, because one of the many things that we advise single professionals when they work with us is when you go on dates, talk about your passion, and even before you go on dates, it's important that you actually pursue a passion. Volunteer makes you really attractive, so because it sends signal that you care for other things more than yourself. And then talking about your passion, hindi lang siya parang sabi-sabi na it makes you attractive, no, there are even like biological effects on your body when you talk about your passion. Your eyes dilate, your face become more your tone of voice becomes more excited. It makes you sound like, it makes you appear like a very interesting person, more than it's all about so there are many things that you could improve, that you could work on yourself to be able to sabihin natin, improve the marketing and packaging, and at the same time most especially improve what's within. Like one of the points that you've mentioned is attending conferences. So it all boils down to like all these three social models that the psychiatrist mentioned, and just working on yourself on these areas. Doesn't have to be perfect, just work on it.
Just take the first step. Just keep at it.
And having said that, I'd like to tell everyone, like brother Nico has experienced so much when it comes to he has a lot of experience with the youth, with relationship. I'd also like to invite brother Nico to briefly talk about yung third party nila ng misis niya, because that's really nakaka-intriga. So brother Nico, tell us about your third party.
Right. So my wife and I put up this relationship counseling or relationship coaching initiative that we call Third Party. And Because we want to be the third party in your relationship, right? We want to have a say in your relationship. And ang tagline namin dyan is let's make it work.
Let's make
I
it.
want to, diba? I want to help you make it work. I really believe that sometimes the desire to make a relationship work is not enough. Sometimes you need to be injected with right inputs. Sometimes another person needs to facilitate the conversation for you. Mas lalo if this is a skill that you're really lacking in, medyo stunted yung growth mo dyan sa aspect na yun. I don't know why. Madaming iba-ibang pwedeng rason kung bakit ka naging ganyan. No, pero let us come in. Let us come in into your relationship, understand both sides, understand the common direction that you want to go, and help us advise you. Help you have a better relationship. Bakit importante sa amin yan? Kasi yan din ang gusto namin eh. Na we long to see a future wherein there would be better families because there are better parents, because there are better husbands and wives. So, and that takes a lot of work, and we want to partner with you in doing all of that.
Because Brother Nico does not only deal with married people, with people who are already in a relationship. He also helps people to strengthen their relationship with their family, with their friends.
Yeah.
Relationship is not just romantic relationship. Kumbaga, encompassing naman yung
Yes.
Brother Nico could help you with. So for you guys who are interested, you can contact you can see his full name right now, but you could contact him on Facebook, on Instagram. It's at Nico Capuchon.
Yes.
Right? Just search for his name, Google his name, you would see his book, Yung Reckless, you would see his Twitter and Facebook. And yes, feel free to reach out to Brother Nico. Brother Nico, do you have like any other pages, social pages that you'd like to let them know?
Not right now. I'm working on that. I'm working on that, so stay tuned. But I want to leave you with this message. We were talking about passion a while ago, and I want to make you think. Nowadays, when we talk about passion, it's about doing stuff that we love to do, doing stuff that encourages us or brings life to us. But in the original meaning of passion, the meaning of passion is what are you or what do you love enough or who do you love enough that you're willing to get hurt for it? So when you're starting to think, so after hearing this podcast, you're starting to think, what am I passionate about? I want to focus on that. Don't think about what you love. Think about what you love enough that you're willing to suffer for it. Kasi ito na yun eh. Pag yun yung level ng passion mo, ano yan, bone level passion yan. Sobrang lakas niyang intensity na yan. And if people would just naturally gravitate to that energy that you are exuding, because this is an excitement of life that I want to have as well. This is a direction that I want to take. This is something so attractive that I think this is going to change my life. Focus on that. Ask that question to yourself. And I hope to see you next time. God bless you.
Yes, we hope to see you again, Brother Nico. Thank you so much for all the learnings that you have shared to us. We definitely got some new information that hopefully not only singles, but everyone who are listening right now will be able to think and decide to, develop themselves and be a better version of themselves. So, brother, thank you. Everyone, thank you so much for watching the Singles Podcast hosted by your resident matchmaker and researcher, Vanessa A. See you again next week. Bye! Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the Singles Podcast. Don't forget to like Singles Events Manila on Facebook and follow us on Instagram for more dating tips and advices. Also, if you are someone who feels ready to meet your significant other this year, don't forget to reach out to us and we'll be happy to connect you to amazing single professionals from Manila. And also, if you feel like you want to learn science-based tips on how you can effectively connect and communicate with the opposite gender, reach out to us and we'll be happy to share science-based tips with you in order to help you have a successful relationship. Thank you, and join us again on the next episode of the Singles Podcast. Have a fun life.